dollars.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying the federal government can, can go with that thing in a full way, but I do say that you can start with the jobs program to get it moving. What you do is you spend some government money in order to create the jobs, in order to do that kind of work, infrastructure work. Remember, though, that when you create jobs, those people then get off the welfare payrolls, the Medicaid payrolls, and food stamp payrolls, and get onto the tax roll. Every 1% of unemployment costs the federal government $25 billion, plus $3.4 billion to the Social Security system. So it's a cost-effective way of dealing with it. Okay? That's how Democrats do it.
President Reagan's been pushing a squeal law that would require pharmacies and stores to get written authorization from parents of any minors trying to buy birth control devices. What's your view on the squeal law?
It's outrageous. That's the whole thing. Phyllis Schlafly has a wonderful. Phyllis Schlafly is the woman who really ran the whole thing against the Equal Rights Amendment. And the way she did it was she really terrorized people in this country by saying, if you pass the Equal Rights Amendment, they're going to draft women. If you pass the Equal Rights Amendment, you're going to have unisex toilets. There are states that have the Equal Rights Amendment. For instance, Denver. Find a unisex toilet in Denver for me, and I will give you a medal. I mean, honestly, it's outrageous fears that went on. Now, Phyllis Schlafly has a cure for herpes, and her cure is that one should not have it. And I'm not putting this down. As a Catholic, I feel strongly about premarital sex and extramarital sex, but she says that that's the cure for herpes, that no premarital sex, marry someone else who's never had premarital sex, and you stay faithful to each other for the rest of your life. I agree with what she's saying that people should do with their lives. As a Catholic, I believe in it. But nonetheless, that is not a realistic approach to the problem of herpes. It just isn't. Now, with the question of, where was I? Squeal law. If she really honestly believes that by denying people the right to go and get contraceptive devices or of any nature, that she is going to, or the president is going to, stop people from having sex.
Well, that's not denying people.
That's the purpose of it. That's the purpose of it. It's supposedly to stop this type of activity. It will not stop it. It will lead to more pregnancies, more unwanted pregnancies. And a major concern to me is that young people will not be able to handle the unwanted pregnancies. She's against abortion, but that will increase abortion in my opinion. I think it is just a very, very foolish and unrealistic approach. Now let me get somebody to answer the question, because we're tight in time.
So you're more or less supporting abortion because it's a big infringement on women's right not to let.
All right, let me explain to you in detail my position on abortion. I'm a Catholic, and I was raised in a Catholic school. Okay, Catholic elementary school, high school, college, and law school. I go to church on Sundays, and my family does. I have 3 young people who are my children. I have one is 16, one is 18, one is 20, and they know how I feel about sex and everything else. I'm rather conservative. I've always said that if I ever became pregnant at this stage in my life, I would be a middle-aged crazy lady. But I would not terminate the pregnancy. I would not have an abortion. Okay? And at 47, the odds of having a child that is normal are not very great. But I would still have a baby. I don't know if I were raped and became pregnant as a result of that rape, if I would be so self-righteous. I honest to God don't. I don't know what my reaction would be. Pregnancy by my husband is one thing. Pregnancy by rape, I don't know how I'd respond. But I'd rather have the ability to make my decision at that time. I do know, wait, let me follow up. I do know that if either of my daughters were raped and became pregnant as a result of that rape, if they said to me, I'm going to have an abortion, I would say, the choice is yours, and here's the money. You don't believe this, we do. That life begins at conception. And I say, I don't want them to impose their views on me, their religious views on me. I don't think we should impose ours on them. And so that's when I talk about freedom of choice. That's what I talk about. The right to choose what you believe is morally and religiously right for you in your body. The decision should be up to the wife and her husband.
Would you vote for Mary Cuomo?
Of course I will vote for Mario Cuomo. I will not only vote for Mario Cuomo, I won't speak for Mario Cuomo, because you have Lou Lehrman, who is doing the same things. He wants to be the Mr. Reagan of New York State, and I think Mr. Reagan is wrong for the United States. In addition, he's talking about cutting taxes 40%. We have a $1.5 billion deficit this state is facing this next year, and they're talking about cutting taxes. Can you imagine what it will be like in another year or two?
So Cuomo's for death? I mean, not for death penalty, and he's not...
That's fine, but remember, he has... But remember what I said? I started off by talking about a death penalty.
Don't you think that's one of the most important things?
Well, not really. I don't think it's the most important. I think the economy is the most important thing in today's political atmosphere. That's the most important thing. The death penalty, people like to think that that's going to be a solution to crime. Again, remember what I said. Look at the states where they have it already. They're still killing all over the place. And remember another thing as well, that the people who have gone to death, been put to death over the past year or 2 years, have only been like 2 or 3 nationwide. But those have all been people who wanted to go, who refused to appeal. Anybody who wants to appeal is not being put to death, even in states where they have the death penalty. So please don't think that that's the answer to the crime problems in New York. It is not. It is not. Well, I have one more. We've got a couple of people here. Who did not ask a question?
First of all, didn't you vote for
Say that again. Say that.
Didn't you support Mayor Koch?
Yes, I did. But that doesn't, what happened was, it's not, I didn't support Koch because I didn't like Cuomo. I supported Koch because I thought he was better than Cuomo. It doesn't mean I didn't think Cuomo was good. If you remember the commercial that I did for Koch, it was not a negative about Cuomo. I didn't say Cuomo was a terrible man. What I said was, and I wrote it myself, what I said was, Koch will be able to deal with the members of Congress better than any other candidate, and he would have been. Koch was a member of Congress. Koch, as mayor of the city of New York, one of the things that I have been finding down there is, in the 4 years I've been down there, if we have a bill that's important to New York City, I call it Koch's office, and I say to the mayor, I need you to call a Republican from Wisconsin, I need you to call, who's on the committee, I need you to call so-and-so. He gets on the phone, he dials them. And he speaks them. He gets their help. And when you need something from New York, it is marvelous to get help from a Republican from a Midwest or a Western state. So it doesn't only look as if New York is being grabby. He's able to do that. When we're having limited federal funds coming into the state, it would have been important for us to have somebody able to do that in Albany. Now, that's Koch versus Cuomo. Koch could do it. Cuomo hasn't had the dealings with members of Congress. But neither has Lerman. So if you were just on that one point alone, they even each other out. It's on all the other points where Koch and Cuomo were very much the same, which is the approach to the economy and their, adherence to democratic principles that they then stand, separately and separate and apart. You then have Lerman versus Koch-Cuomo. So that on the one point, and that's the one reason why I chose Cuomo above Koch, was that Koch was, because he's an American economist, he really has a nice personality. In fact, one of the things that I was told when I first went down here was that if Koch had not been the mayor of New York, we wouldn't have gotten the loan guarantees in 1977. I was told by Jim Hanley, who used to represent Syracuse. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, everybody liked Ed, didn't like Bella. And I said, wait a minute. I said, are you telling me that you vote on things because you like somebody? And he said, yeah. And I said, how childish. You want to know something? In good measure, that's how things are done. With people returning favors to each other, and it's done on a personal basis with members of Congress helping each other out. So that was one of the reasons why was the reason why I supported Ed over Cuomo. But take a look at the issues and look at Cuomo versus Lerman. I don't think it's even a question. I really got to go. Peg is here not only for just to give you the interest rates, but also because we have something else to do.
Okay. Anyone who doesn't have a biography,
You need a biography.